so.
Let's pick nothing less for Dr. Frankenstein.
There's nothing funny about that. Nothing at all. Hello. How are you?
Good.
Coming in late, I see.
Just a little bit.
You sat across from me at dinner last night. Both of you.
Yes, sir.
Did you eat the rest of my shrimp cocktail? Okay. I just had to get that out. I don't really feel like I need that.
Yeah, don't need it.
Although it's kind of fun every once in a while. Hi, ladies and gentlemen.
Good morning.
This is my Q&A. It's where I ask you guys questions and you have to answer them. What is the square root of 16? This is no fun. You guys know all the answers. What is my favorite color? Blue, no yellow. Ah! That's right, Monty Python. If you don't know that reference, you must go home tonight and watch Monty Python in Search of the Holy Grail. Best movie ever. Princess Bride. Nah. Blade Runner. Nah. They're all up there. They're all pretty darn good. My name is Chuck. I'm a voice actor. I started in this business in 1998. It's been 20 years. That means I was 27 years old when I started this. If you do math, that means you know I am no longer 27 years old. I'm now 47. When I started, I had one child. Now I have 8. How does that keep happening? When a man and woman love each other very much, there's a special hug, and then they have sex. That's how children. No, I have 3 stepchildren, and 5 naturally born children. I mean, as far as I can tell, that stuff looks alien to me, so I'm not sure if it's natural. It's terrifying. Are you recording all this?
Maybe.
God, I'm in trouble.
Yeah, it's going on my YouTube.
It's gonna go on your YouTube?
Uh-huh.
Hello, YouTube. Ignore everything I just said.
No, it's all going there.
Alright, good to know.
I gotta have some content. Gotta have
This
something.
is good content.
Yeah.
Do you want to ask me any questions, YouTube channel?
I didn't come prepared for that. Y'all, ask questions. We gotta make content.
Listen, if you want content, you're gonna have to think of a question.
Okay, what's your favorite character to voice? There we go.
My favorite character I've ever voiced is probably Hiei from Yu Yu Hakusho. And the reason is I had never been to a convention before, and I didn't know I was, I had no idea I was famous. And they said, Chuck, do you want to go to a con? And I was like, yeah! What's a con? And they were like, it's a place where people cosplay. And I was like, cool! What is that? And they were like, just come, you'll have fun, you're going to sign autographs and just sit at a table while people line up and you sign autographs. And I was like, oh, you're stupid. Because I didn't think anyone would want my autograph. I didn't understand that people really loved the anime. Because when I was in college, which is when I really started watching anime for real, this is how you had to watch anime. Do you want to watch something? Do you want to watch some anime? Because it was not something that was popular. And nobody liked us. And they'd be like, why are you watching the weird anime? And we'd be like, because we're run, everyone run! And then you'd have to run away from them. So, and then I went to this convention and I was convinced they were crazy that I was going to sign autographs. But then I signed autographs for 4 hours straight. So I went from signing 0 autographs in my life to signing autographs for 4 hours. And it was all Hiei fans. Well, at least the first chunk of the line. Because they must have been waiting in line for a really long time. And the first chunk of the line was all Hiei fans. And they were like, and I was like, ah! But then we all calmed down. I got used to it. So that's why I like Hiei, because, you know, I didn't know I was famous. I still don't know. Famous is a weird thing. Famous just really means that you guys love the character. You know, it's not really about the voice actor. It's just that Hiei is drawn and can't like talk to you and answer your questions. So I get to be Hiei's three-dimensional representative.
Well, then why aren't you cosplaying him?
Because wigs are hot.
They are, but I mean, look, cosplay is suffering.
Cosplay is suffering. I cosplayed Stein one time. There was a panel with Vic, Steve Bloom, and me, so I had to bring my A game because I was with Vic and Steve Bloom. So I cosplayed as Stein, and I came in with the crowd. And Vic was like,
Where's Chuck? Chuck should be here. Where's Chuck? Chuck should be here by now. I just talked to him. Let me text him.
and I stood up and I went, that guy's a jerk. And everybody was like, oh. And I had this screwing up. It's pretty cool. And then I used to wear kigurumis on Sundays. That was my thing Jessica and I would do, was wear kigurumis on Sundays. Because it was comfy. But now, because we travel a lot less to conventions, I try to travel only with a backpack. The kigurumi takes up a lot of space. So now I don't dress in kigurumis on Sundays. I only own 3 pairs of pants. Little known facts about Chuck Berry. Right now, I couldn't be more serious. I have 3 pairs of pants. And 1 pair of shorts, but it's actually one of the pairs of pants that you zip and then you have shorts. And a swimsuit, and 3 button-up shirts, and maybe 8 t-shirts. And these shoes and flip-flops. And 1 pair of dress shoes in case people die. Why are you laughing at my dead relatives? You guys are mean. It's okay, you can laugh. They're not very nice. Yes, that's for you. I'm saying that to my relatives who are watching on YouTube.
But how are they if they're not here?
They'll watch it. Try to use it against me in court. Take my children.
Oh gosh.
That's a darker story. They're probably literally watching this in the future. I just made a joke that was really dark and now you guys are all confused. They're like, it was so funny.
Now it's dark.
Sad. Let that be a lesson to you. I don't know what a lesson is.
Don't make dark jokes.
No, always make dark jokes. What's worse than biting into an apple and finding a worm?
I don't know.
The Holocaust. Way worse. I don't know how you can figure that out. It's pretty simple. Somebody should ask a question before I tell the next joke. I was at rehearsals one day, and my buddy Brad Jackson came in to rehearsals, and he was like, "Hey man, you should go audition for this Dragon Balls thing." And I was like, "Dragon Balls? That sounds naughty." No, it's Japanese anime. And I was like, "Okay, it's definitely naughty." And he was like, "No, you should go call this guy Chris Sabat, and he'll audition you." And I was like, "Okay." And I went, that's back when phones used to still be. And the phone rang and he answered, "Oh, hello, hello." And I was like, "Hey, my buddy Brad Jackson said I could audition for Dragon Balls." And he was like,
Oh yeah, that's a it's a common mistake. Yeah, it's actually Dragon Ball Z. Yeah, like you say the Z, like you have to say, yeah, sure, you can come in and audition. Like, what about like 4 o'clock today? Like tomorrow, maybe like 4 or 5, like 4 o'clock tomorrow. Hold on, let me get a pencil.
And I was like, I'm not sure this is really an audition. Because I've done like 8 years of professional work in Chicago by this time, and auditions were very set affairs with casting directors, and this was like a dude looking for a pencil. So he found his pencil and he came back and was like,
Yeah, so yeah, how about like 4 o'clock tomorrow? Is that good?
and I was like, sure, that sounds good. He was like,
Okay, man, see you then.
and I was like, oh, well, I don't know where to go.
Have to call him back and be like, where do I
No,
go?
you call back right away.
It's like, oh, sorry,
Oh.
I forgot to tell you where to go. You know the bank building, and it's like in North Richmond Hills, like right off Roof Snow. Like if you exit Roof Snow, and like you can get to the like go to the back parking lot. Like if you go, like there's the Shell station on the corner. So if you like go through the Shell station, you get to sort of skip the light, but that goes right into the parking lot there. And yeah, so if you'll find us. We're on the first floor. Okay. Yeah. Okay, I gotta go.
And I was like, really not sure this is a real audition.
Walk in there, they just murder you.
Well, they didn't murder. Well, on the way there, actually, I had a flat tire.
Oh.
There was raining, and it was one of those days where your bank account gets overdrawn 11 times because it went $6 or $4 over because somebody you gave a check to like 2 years ago finally decides to cash it and you have forgotten about it. And then your bank account's overdrawn and you're like, I think I want a Twix. And then that Twix bar costs like $35. And then you're like, you're not satisfied with the Twix bar. And you go back and you're like, I forgot, I need some gum too. And it's like $35 gum. And then that happens like 8 more times and you buy $350 worth of snacks. And then you're, do what?
Should have had a Snickers.
Should have had just one Snickers and stuff. But yeah, so I was like $350 overdrawn in my account with a flat tire, and it was raining, and I was on the way to meet this weird guy at the back of a Shell station.
Who may or may not have a knife.
Auditioned for his Japanese whatever, Dragon Balls, and I was like, I'm gonna be murdered. And then I was on the side of the road, and I was all grumpy and arrogant and full of myself because I had a career in Chicago, and I was driving a 1982 Hyundai, and I was sad. And then I heard like you get that voice, the voice inside you that's like, Chuck, don't skip this audition, Chuck. And you're like changing the tires. What? Chuck. You can't skip. It was Vic Mignogna's. Chuck, don't skip this audition or you'll never do Star Trek Continues with me. And I'm like, that's not even a show. It's like, it will be. So it wasn't Vic's voice. But you get that sense every once in a while of like, if you're just quiet. I always tell people, if you wake up in the morning and you listen, like, don't start talking to yourself right away. Just listen to what is being said to you. That's like the gamer who's gaming you, who is you, because you and the game are the same. If the guy in the game is you, you'd be like, I'm the guy playing it, but I'm also but that guy is like he gets like 4 seconds in the morning to go like, don't go down the dark alley tonight. And you're like, I wonder what that was about. And you go past the dark alley, you're like, I'm not going down. But you have, and that voice, that sense that happens to all of us, that's a real thing. That actually is a deal. Because a lot of what we say inside our heads all day long, we're talking to ourselves, a lot of that they've discovered are things other people have said to us. So you especially all the negative stuff you hear inside your head, guarantee you like 99.9% of that is stuff you've heard other people say about people you love or other people say to you or stuff that was said to you when you were a little kid in first grade. Shut up, your voice is too loud. Ugh, sing. Anything like that. You call that dancing? Like these are ways we kill each other as humans. Because you should never do that. You should never keep someone from dancing or singing or laughing or using their voice. But you'll hear all this stuff in your head, and I always tell people, stop that voice. Don't let that voice talk. And check and see if that is your real voice or if that's something that was recorded by your computer, massive, awesome brain. Because they did a study with parents and children doing puzzles, and 15 years later, they had the children do puzzles and said, what are your thoughts doing this puzzle? And they had the adults now write out their thoughts as they were doing the puzzle. Sort the, get the corner pieces, corners go in a pile. Like they were saying their thoughts, and it turns out that the kid, the adult now, their thoughts were exact quotes of what their mother was saying to them when they were being taught how to do a puzzle as a kid. So you have stuff inside your head that you think are your own thoughts, but are quotes people gave you. And you don't ever have to listen to those. That's like listening to Winter Wonderland that is stuck in your head for 3.5 years. listen to that. In the meadow, we build a snowman. Oh, great, it's back. I had that stuck in my head for 3 years. It was really, really sad. It was when I was a principal of a school, too. I was a principal of a private Catholic school for 6 years. And it was while I was recording EA, too, because voice acting doesn't pay that much. It certainly didn't back then. There weren't any conventions or anything. So, or not as many as there are now. So yeah, I had that song stuck in my head. There's a whole class of students for about 3.5 years who will always associate Winter Wonderland with Mr. Hugo. Because I would sing it. It would just come out of my face. It was really weird. I keep looking at the camera, picturing his family members watching this video. Would everyone turn around and stick out your tongue?
You can even see yourself if you want.
Yeah. Just shit, everyone stick out your tongue at my family members. Oh, that's funny. That's really funny. Be sure to tag it, Chuck Huber.
I will.
Look at me, I'm turning red. Oh, that's great. If I don't embarrass myself once a day, I don't feel like I'm doing my job. Like, you should do that. You should push yourself to the place where you're uncomfortable. If you're not making yourself uncomfortable every day, you're really not playing the game properly. You really haven't jumped into Earth Life 2.0 with the right attitude. Like, if your whole goal is to avoid feeling awkward and avoid feeling discomfort, you're not gonna find out what you really are meant to be doing here. But if you are like, you know what, I should try to make myself a little uncomfortable today. Like, some of the ways I make myself uncomfortable is I take cold showers. People don't realize they like end up with drug and alcohol problems when really all they need to do if they want to feel better is to jump into an icy cold river. Because your body gets flooded with drugs. It's like, what are you doing to me? And it pours drugs out of your brain into your body, and then you get out. Here's the great thing I love about cold showers. When you take a hot shower and you get out of the shower, what do? You're like, oh my God, it's cold. So hot shower equals cold life. Cold shower equals warm life. You get out of a cold shower, you're like, oh, thank God that's over. And you feel all warm, you start to warm up, and you get all this serotonin and adrenals, and you're set for the day. Try it, I guarantee you'll feel better. If you ever are like filled with anxiety, or filled with depression, or filled with anything that you were just like, I don't know how to handle this, and you can get into an icy cold situation with water, we have a pool and it's starting to get cold out, and I love that because that means I get to jump into the pool and freeze. It's good for you. Like the science on it is great. The science on it is rock solid. It's also way cheaper than a heroin habit. Way less damaging for the body too. Also, you don't end up a heroin addict.
Yeah.
That's the extra bonus.
Dude, man, you got some ice? Just rub some ice in my face and just pour that cold water on my head, dude. Just a little bit, just a little cold water on my...
No, that won't. You'll be okay. You'll just be a little weird. But weird is good. Normal is not. Of course, I'm looking at a group of anime people, so you guys know normal is not necessarily correct. Yeah.
Do you ever watch any of the anime that you've done voices in, just as an enjoyment kind of thing?
Yes, I enjoyed Soul Eater. I enjoyed Yu Yu Hakusho. I don't. Plug your ears, camera. I don't necessarily enjoy Dragon Ball Z.
I can hear the comment section raging.
I know.
I can hear it
I'll
now.
tell you this, I love my performances in it. And that's not, I love to watch the interaction. I love this Saturday's episode of Dragon Ball Super. I will watch that. It's the first time Goku and I get to interact. And Goku being who Goku is and Android 17 being who Android 17 is, they're hilarious together. Because Android 17 just does not give a F. And Goku's like, I am so full of everything called energy and life. And like, he's just so simple.
Generic.
And Android 17 is like not having it. And so it's really fun. So I'll watch that. But That said, Dragon Ball Z, a lot of the fighting anime are very similar in feel and style to professional wrestling, which, I mean, Dragon Ball Z is kind of like professional wrestling in a, awesome, space way. It's about that power up, bad guy, good guy, power up, tag me in, tag me out, I've leveled up, you've leveled up. So it's very much in that vein. And if I ever had a child or a grandchild who was into it, I would probably get into it through their eyes. But a lot of times we don't have the time to watch everything. The first time I tried to watch it, that's probably why I never ended up watching it, because my first son, when DBZ started, I sat him down and I was like, this is my show, let's watch my show. And we started watching it and he was like, Dad, this fight is taking a really long time. And I was like, yeah, you're not going to like the show. That's not wrestling would be for you, because the fight's taking a long time is the whole deal. And that's, kind of the difference between, like Soul Eater, there's long fights in that too, but it goes moves a little bit.
They don't spend half an episode yelling.
Next time on Dragon Ball Z. Next time on Dragon Ball Z. It's just one long series, one Sean Schimmel 27.5-minute power up.
The nerds are fights too.
Yeah, I just recorded a fairy tale episode. I was
Blue Note.
Spoiler, not to Dustin. Yeah.
What's your favorite thing about voicing Austria?
Oh my goodness, Austria is such a silly character. I love him because he's up here and he always makes me feel happy.
I like Austria and I like Hetalia in general. Hetalia was a show I was writer on for the first 3 seasons with Jamie Markey, who's a very, very funny, very talented young lady. And the comedy in that, we tried to pull out all the stops and get as much comedy as possible in there. We said we were going to skewer every country for all their foibles. And one of the very first episodes, they had a premiere at, I think, Anime Boston, and all the Funimation people were there. They're like, let's watch this show. And like one of the very first jokes is, I think somebody comes up to Germany and goes, I got you a present! And Germany goes, what is it, another Jew? And they were like, did we make this? Yes, you did! We got no little trouble after that. They were like, if you're gonna write really, really, really scary jokes, you have to give us another option. So then we had to record 2 options, like, one that was. We tried to get a dolphin sandwich joke in for Japan. I think we might have ended up getting that in at some point. Yes?
What was your best moment voicing in Soul Eater?
The fight with Medusa. The fight with Medusa, or when Stein goes crazy, when the Kishin just. Because part of the thing about being a voice actor, like getting to laugh hysterically like that, is you regular muggles don't get to laugh like that. You guys can, because you're cosplaying and you're anime people and you imitate what you see, and so you get to play like we get to play as voice actors. But regular muggles, they don't get to do that. They're like, I'm going to my job. I'm coming home from my job. Like if they were to release that way, the police would be called. They would be arrested. But we get to do that and get paid to do it. And so we get to experience things. That's part of the reason you become an actor, is because you want to experience things. Because here's another trick. I'm a big fan of giving out tricks. As an actor, we get to experience things, but we all get to experience things in a way that you don't normally get to. Your brain can't tell the difference. Let me back up. When my children have nightmares, and they're like, I was in the house, and the aliens came in, and I picked up the chair, and you were being eaten by an alien, and I was beating the alien with the chair. And they're starting to cry, they're 4 or whatever, and I'm like, that is awesome! And they're like, you're supposed to comfort me, you're my father. I'm like, you just totally crushed that alien! And they're like, what is going on? I'm scared. And it's like, no, your brain can't tell the difference between a nightmare and reality. Your brain has now experienced the fear and the effort it would take to overcome that fear, to pick up a chair, or to beat an alien that's eating your dad. So like you don't know the difference between nightmare, and your brain can't tell the difference between nightmare and reality. So if you have a bad nightmare, that just means that you are now someone who has, if you own that, like you own reality, like, okay, if you own that as a reality, then you are a person who has survived that awesome, terrifying thing. And the same goes for your imagination. Like as an actor, I get to laugh like Stein, lose my mind. And you don't get to do that. And if you suddenly get to, uncork that portion of your personality and see where it goes, that's a lot of fun.
Okay, did you think Dragon Ball was still popular when you started? Like, as popular as it is 20 years later?
No. Like if you were to, no, not at all. I didn't even know it was popular back when it was popular. Like I didn't know anime was a thing until, do you want to answer, Woody? I'm just gonna...
Someone really wants to contact you.
Wouldn't that be funny if Woody Woodpecker was actually calling me? That would be weird. Or awesome. Yeah, no, the fact that DBZ is still going is amazing to me. We're very lucky. We're very lucky that I always have seen other actors say things like this, and I was like, doesn't make sense to me. But now I understand. Yeah, we were very lucky to be in that property at the time we were in it, and it has continued on and continued to provide for our families for years and years. So that's the amazing part. And the amazing part is that the property doesn't provide for us. The property doesn't support us. The fans do. You guys do. I mean, what you make, I don't know, Chris Sabat's company, Okratron, is in charge of the recording for Dragon Ball Z, and I think last year I made, as Android 17 and Emperor Pilaf, almost $3,000. And you think, oh, if I was Android 17, I'd have a private jet. Maybe a small one that you could play with in your Hyundai. But no, you're not going to have a private jet. But what does provide for our families is being able to come here, teach workshops, give panels, sit at a table, talk to you guys, and if you got a little extra cash, you buy one of our prints or whatever, or a recording, and that truly is what has supported us. DBZ, and it's more your love of DBZ that has supported us. It's not Dragon Ball Z. Certainly not the student.
Now, we just recently discovered Psyche K, and that's a fairly new one, I know. And
I love it.
That's fun. How do you enjoy voicing the father in that one?
It reminds me a lot of Hiro from Shin-Chan. It's not a Shin-Chan show.
No.
It's a weird show, but it's not that weird. It's a great show. I think Jerry Jewell is so fantastic. His voice is just perfect for that. If you haven't seen that show, I keep hearing rumors of a second season, and I keep wanting to foster those rumors that have that be true, because I would love to do that character again. It's that is a show that I would introduce. I can't remember if there's anything off color in it. It's pretty family friendly, isn't it?
Pretty well.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything like that I wouldn't want my 9-year-old to see.
Yeah, no, not
So it'd be a good one, because each episode is pretty much a life unto itself, so you could pick any 4 episodes to watch. You don't have to watch it in order to understand it. So yeah, it's a good one. Thank you for reminding me of that. I should try to introduce my children to that one.
Yeah, well, that was my other option for cosplay, was to be the dad. So before I realized you were here. Well, another question. What's been your absolute worst experience voice acting?
My worst experience voice acting. Like in the booth, I don't think I've had. Oh, okay. Recently, I recorded a Killing Floor 3. I play a character named Hans Volta. And he's crazy German. I will crush you. I will rip out your throats. And he's super nice, angry Austrian actually. And you're in the middle of this, and you got headphones on. You're in a booth all by yourself. There's 2 producers and a director. connected in from LA. There's another group in Atlanta from the parent game company connected in, giving their opinions. There's guys in the studio in Dallas. There's about 8 people in your headphones, and then suddenly, and it was almost imperceptible to them, but it happened to me inside my brain. I said a line, and it came out French instead of German, and it kind of slid past because the line was a little short, and I was like, oh God, and I didn't want, the one thing you don't want as an actor is to mention you're having a problem to a bunch of producers. If there's 8 guys in your headphones and you mention, oh, I'm having a problem, it will be an hour and a half till the problem is fixed. Like, you gotta fix it on your own. If you tell people, well, here, let us help you with a lot of stuff that gets you up inside your head. You're never gonna be able to get out of it. You'll probably be broken for the rest of your life. You're like, ah! So it was a long 2 minutes, maybe 90 seconds, where I was panicked that I was going to have to run screaming from the booth because my German had become French, and I could not get out of it. But it's funny, I teach dialect, so I just did what I said, what I always say in the dialect work that I do, which is if you lose a dialect, all dialect should be based on your natural voice, so that anytime you lose a dialect, you can just drop back to your natural voice and then start to pick the dialect back up inside your natural voice. Because a dialect sounds false, not because of what you're not doing right, but a dialect sounds false because of what you think you're doing right, but is actually wrong. So a lot of times you'll get this sort of muscle memory of what a dialect feels like, but that will be incorrect. And so I had suddenly slipped into my French and couldn't get back to the German. So I just had to strip away, relax. I did the next line and a half, just kind of as Chuck, very angry, and then the German came back and said I was fine, but it was like, the panic inside me was massive, but as a professional, your job is to not show the panic. You have to be calm and simple. Yeah.
What do you think is the best about being a voice actor?
Definitely the conventions and the fans, for sure, 100%. We are lucky enough. I've traveled to, New Zealand, Australia, Dublin, Poland, all over the United States. I have regular conventions now that I go to. I have a convention twice a year in Chicago, which is my hometown, and my brother lives in Milwaukee. So you don't think about that as a thing for people who have regular jobs. For people who have regular jobs, flying twice a year to see your brother is not really something you could do normally. But it's part of my job, and I just say, hey, would you bring me up on Wednesday instead of Friday? And I fly in Wednesday, and my brother picks me up, and I hang out with him for a couple days, and then he drops me off at the convention, and then I do the convention and fly home. So there are perks to our job. Like I had a convention in Times Square, and I said, would you, and a lot of times I get a companion fare, and my wife Jessica, who's an artist, will come with me. And so I said, Jess, how about you stay home this time, and I take my 2 older boys. And so I said, would you mind throwing an extra ticket on the deal for me? And they were like, sure. And so it was me and my 2 older boys in Manhattan for 4 days. And so, not to mention that we have people who know us, who we love and have met all over the country. So that if I often joke, if I were ever dropped in any city, I think I could find them, just a towel, no money, and it's freezing out. If I could make it to the nearest comic book shop, I think I could probably get some thrift store clothes and a place to sleep for the night, Listen, I realize I'm in a towel, but I'm Android 17. Did you hook me up? I don't know how I got here. There was a bright light suddenly. It was so but yeah, the fandom is so strong that we feel completely supported 100% of the time. And that's why, quite honestly, that's why I do the Now Voice This competition, which is people compete with their voices, and the first winner went to Funimation, ended up on My Hero Academia, The second winner just recorded out in LA with Todd Capricorn. This third upcoming, which will be starting here in the next 7 or 8 days, the winner will be recording at Sentai Films. And it's just a way to be like, hey, we got to do this, how about everybody gets to do it? Give it a shot.
Yeah.
And it's been a lot of fun. I feel like we owe you guys. If you don't mind, I'm going to poke my head out. I left my son at my table.
Okay.
I just want to make sure he's still there. He's pretty good, and I can see the only angle, so I think we're good.
It's empty. There's no one there anymore.
He's not a wanderer, but I just was hearing his mom in my head while I was here. You left him at the table. And I was like, he's fine. Part of the reason you have dads and moms in your life is because moms will make sure you don't get run over by a train. Dads will make sure you know how to dive out of the way of a train. So moms make sure you don't get into danger. Dads sort of teach you, when you're in danger, here's how you get out. I mean, I think personally that the only reason we have things like computers and remote controls is because men are incredibly lazy. We don't invent stuff because we want to explore. We invent stuff because we're like, I don't want to do that. I should make a thing that does that. You know what would be great is if I had a thing in my hand and would just make that thing do that, just from here. You know, the first remote controls were, they had little metal bars inside of them, and they would go ding. They were sound activated, ding dong doom, ding dong doom. My grandpa had one of the very first remote control TVs, and you used to be able to shake your keys and change the channel. I want one now, just as a novelty, just to be like ding ding, and it would like you turn the TV on and off, shaking the keys or switch the channel. And he'd be watching, and he'd come in and shake the keys. And, Charlie, don't do Charlie! My family used to call me Charlie when they talked to me. I really hope they watch this video. This is tickling me. Alright. Enough about this. Look, I turned myself ready. Any other questions? Oh, I know what we should do. Let's not say anything.
That's not good content.
It isn't.
Or I could just like play music over it and then it's just everyone sitting in a room quietly.
That would be awkward.
So, yeah.
And awesome. Just the Jeopardy. Oh, we're almost done. Although I should go a little bit over because I was late. But I don't know if I'll be allowed to. Do you want to see it? Should we see what my wife just texted me? Oh, that's adorable. She said, something's happened to Juno. She's got a little baby on. That's terrible. I'm going to tell her that's horrible. Really? Yeah, that's how about in the back?
If you could voice any character, which would be your favorite to try and voice?
I would like to do anything in a Pixar movie or a Miyazaki movie. I know that that's not really possible, allegedly, but I don't believe it. Yeah, like any of those super quality. The Hosoda movies are close, the Boy and Beast and Little Children, and so I was lucky enough to do Summer Wars and Boy and Beast. Any major character in a beautiful movie like that would be, point of fact, any character in a Pixar movie would be amazing to do. Any major character in a Hosoda movie would be awesome. I had a little turn in Boy and Beast that was nice. Had the main character's father in a scene where they're reunited, which was really touching. That was fun to do. It's not often, a lot of the anime doesn't require the nuance or the deep well of sort of reality that you can bring to a character. A lot of the anime is based on the narrative and the beautiful pictures and doesn't necessarily have that much to do with the acting. And so, as voice actors, I always say we get to surf on the back of these awesome stories. Because anime is really about the story. It's about the story and the pictures. And the voice acting can ruin it sometimes. But if you pretty much say the words and stay out of the way, you're gonna assist the story when you finish.
Anyone else? Any other questions? Yes, sir.
Did you have a favorite voice actor to work with, or anyone else?
You know, I worked with Vic and Todd on the Star Trek series that Vic made, and we loved that. It was hard. There were times where it was really hard, but we loved it. And Vic did an amazing job with it, and it's something that is now permanent in Star Trek history. And if you would have told me that, 6 old Irish dudes would be, waddling down the hallway towards my signing table in Dublin.
Ah, Dr. McCoy! Oh, you're so great. Star Trek continues.
And you're like, wow, you love that thing from way over here? Like, until the internet, that never would have been possible. But working with Todd and Vic on something that was so special and so important and so permanent, I mean, it is, in 100 years from now, they'll watch original Star Trek Continues, the movies, then Next Generation. Like, you won't skip our series. If you are being introduced to the series, it'll be part of the canon. So that's an amazing gift and opportunity to be a part of that. And those guys are brothers now because of that experience. So I definitely like working with them. I was trying to make a wisdom of it. Here's your content. Remember that time Chuck blew across his coffee mug and that panel? That was awesome. He also told some really weird jokes that made us sad. Also, there's apparently something going on with his family. I don't know what that's about. Oh, that makes me laugh. Anyone else? Yes.
What was it like being able to voice Ash and Black Butler?
Oh yes, Ash, Black Butler. I like to be British. I definitely like to be British. I typically travel British because people treat you nicer if you're British.
Oh my gosh, you're British. You should be in first class. This is your class.
Yes, of course I should.
And then they ask, where are you from? And I'm like,
Oh, I'm from Fort Worth.
they're like, no, where originally?
Oh, originally I was from Chicago.
They're like, but where'd you get that accent?
Oh, from my face.
Are you British?
No more.
But yeah, Ash was fun. I like being British. All right, if we're done, we can stop.
Okay, we're stopping.
Stop, you two.